Hi. Yeah, so today I'm going to talk about um, a few things I wish I knew before becoming a doula. Um, so I've been a doula for a few years now, and there's a few things that I wish I knew, but some things I know is just a part of the journey of being a doula. Um, so to be a doula, you can go through training, through an organization, or you can just do self-taught. So I know some people who have just done self-taught. They just teach themselves through books and whatever. And other people go through classes and an organization who has a whole program to train you how to be a doula. I didn't know the differences in those trainings. I just thought it was more, some organizations had more of a focus on XYZ, some had a more focus on this. So that's all I thought the difference was. But when you look out there, it's like a wide difference. Some people, it's just like a online course. Some organizations have an in-person thing, and they're talking to you, giving you feedback. Some are more geared towards full spectrum doulas, um, and what have you. So I didn't really know that before I got into being a doula. And I kind of wish I knew more of that. And I am looking into being trained by a Black organization or by Black women. That's just something on my list to do, just to further my knowledge and what I can give back to women in the community. So that's on my to-do list. Um, but yeah, so I wish I kind of had that from the beginning, but everyone's journey is different. So yeah, I wish I knew that trainings varied. And I have some notes here. Yeah, not only that training varies, training is ongoing. So you can go through that weekend course, you can go through an online course, you can even go through many of these. You can go through this organization, you can do several of these trainings. But just because you finish that one weekend course doesn't mean you know everything that you are to know as a doula and you're set for life. Training is ongoing, training is for life. You're always becoming better, or you should be. You're always becoming better at what you want to do, because if you want to really serve people, there's always going to be new information out there, or another way that you can do something, or a new technique, or just even bettering how you communicate, um, improving just other skills and things like that. So training is ongoing. I didn't really think about it like that. I just thought, you learn what you needed to know, and that's it. So training is ongoing. That's something I wish I knew, but I know now. So that's just how I operate. I'm always learning something new, and I'm never ashamed to be like, oh, I didn't know that. Now I do, and now I can tell other people that, or my clients, what I know now. So yeah, that's one. Another thing is, I didn't know that you were on call. Before I wanted to be a doula, I just knew, like, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to help women. I want to help them on their motherhood journey, not be afraid of labor, help women in postpartum and things like that. But I didn't think about being on call. Um, I didn't think about that. So yeah, for being a birth doula, you are on call. Birth is unpredictable. Birth doesn't happen on the due date most of the time. So from 37, 38 weeks, you're on call, and you keep your phone close to you to make sure, like, if mom texts you or family member texts you, like, hey, um, they're in labor, it's time to go. So you have to wait for that call. And if that's not for you, then that's not for you. And for a period of my birth work services, that wasn't for me. And I had to either put that on pause for a minute because of my kids. And then now I'm recently coming back to more in-person birth services. But yeah, that's something you got to think about. Is this the time for you? Do you have that set up in your life where you can be on call like that? Can you call out of work? Can you call out? Do you have a job that's flexible like that you can just call out and be out for 24 hours, 48 hours, and things like that? Do you yourself, can you be somewhere for 24 hours? Do you have the energy? Do you have the stamina, the endurance? Is that for you? So that's also something to think about that I didn't know before I became a doula. Another thing is the importance of networking. I wish I knew that from the beginning. I learned it pretty early on. But yeah, I would have been like trying to network much, much more with other doulas, with other birth practitioners, anybody who deals with birth and postpartum moms, clients, like chiropractors and all of those things. I wish I would have networked a little bit sooner, especially since the pandemic hit. It's kind of hard to meet up with people. I used to meet up with a lot more practitioners in the community before the pandemic, and now it's a little bit more difficult. Not impossible, obviously, but a little bit more difficult. And a lot of times it's either on Zoom or things like that, but still. Meeting in person was, really nice. So networking, really important, because that's a lot of times how you can get your referrals. That's another way to market yourself. If somebody knows you, they can vouch for you when referring a client. So networking is so important. Another thing I wish I knew is that running a business is hard, and being a doula is not just a passion work. I mean, you can do this as a hobby, but I mean, most people are doing it because this is what they want to do with their life. This is a business. This is their career. This is how they earn their money. It's how I earn my money. So for my family to provide. So it's a business, and through a lot of those trainings that you get, they don't necessarily tell you the ins and outs of running a business. So before this, I had no business skills. I had no idea what an LLC was, what an S Corp was, sole proprietorship. I didn't know sole proprietorship. I didn't know what those things were, or insurance, that you need insurance, general practice insurance, liability insurance, things like that. I didn't know any of that. And so outside of the training that I did, I had to learn all these other techniques, whether through Google, asking around. That's where networking comes in. That running a business is a whole nother thing. It's one thing to be a doula, but also to run it as a business it's a big learning curve. At least it was for me. So learning all of those things was a big leap, and it was hard, and it still is. You're still learning how to market yourself, and that's a lot of the time spent outside of actually doing the doula work, is marketing yourself and doing all the business stuff outside of that. So learning that was a learning curve. I wish I knew that beforehand. And then that kind of segues into my last point of what I wish I knew, is that it's not a lot of money. You may charge somebody $1,000, but after all the things I just said up until now, $1,000, once you break down, it might sound like a lot on paper, that's a lot. But once you break down, or if you're charging that, some people charge $300. Some people do this for free. Some people charge, I know people who charge $2,000, $3,000. So, I mean, it's a wide range of what people charge out there. But let's say you're charging in the middle, $1,000. Once you add up all the time that you took to talk to a client, you do the discovery call, you gotta once tell them about yourself, see if you're a good fit, then you're checking in with the client throughout the weeks and doing education, telling them about birth, all the different types of things that can happen, and preparing them, going over the birth plan, all those things that you do leading up into the birth, and then you're at the birth for whatever X amount of hours. Once you break down that by hour, it's not a lot. So you don't necessarily go into being a doula for the money. At least I don't think a lot of people do that. I think you go in because you're passionate about this. This is what you want to do. You really want to help people. You really want to serve these moms. That's what you go in it for. And that's what I went in for. All of these reasons that I didn't know beforehand didn't deter me. It will deter some people who are really not in it for the right reasons, I guess. We're not in it. They like it, but they're not really that passionate about it. Or a lot of these things will deter people. Like running a business is hard. The financial part about it. You got to go out and network. All these behind the scene things. It's a lot, but it doesn't matter when it's your passion. It doesn't matter when this is your dream and this is what you want to do with your life. All those things don't matter. It's just another thing that's going to push you to do it even more because you want to be better at helping and serving in these communities and around the world. So that's all the things I wish I knew, but I know I learned them along the way, and that's just my journey in being a doula. And that's just all I want to say about that. That I wish I knew it, but I know it now, and I learned it. So I just hope that other people are watching this and they can see that it's not just the work that you do out of birth, it's all the stuff behind the scenes. And it's, of course, it's doable. If it's what you want to do, it's your passion, you can do this. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me about being a doula. What are the different things? What are my thoughts on certain things? You can sure reach out to me. I'll leave my email in the description box below. But yeah, those are some of the things I wish I knew. But overall, I love what I do and I wouldn't change it for the world. Okay, thank you.